Hello and welcome back to the conclusion of the 32nd annual Veterans Park Open in Arlington, Texas. This tournament is sponsored by Kratom and powered by Mint Discs. And this coverage is brought to you by Mountain Sports. Thanks for giving me the day off so I could film some awesome golf. After 2.5 rounds, this is our leaderboard. Castruita still holding it down. 1 down on the round. Holland Handley -2 on the round. Oliva -1 down. And Cat Merch has snuck into our top 4. We'll see if Carolyn can hold it down. One thing I missed from the first half of this round, I wanted to shout out Oliva for getting the solo birdie on Champ 1, and also Castruita for getting the solo birdie on Champ 8. We've seen the first half of this round with the shorter, more technical holes, and we've got some crushers on this card, so it's going to be super exciting to see how they tackle this longer, more open part of the course. Let's get to it. Hole 11, the famous star hole, 300 feet coming out of the woods. You got lots of options. Right hand, backhand. Either throw up the right gap or throw like a little baby turnover through the left gap. Personally, I think the forehand or lefty backhand gap is a little bigger. There are less trees to beat. It's not as thick on the left side. This is a great shot from Aria, giving it some body English there. Don't think we'll see it on this card, but there is also a tomahawk or thumber. There's an open lane through the canopy here. Maria also going backhand. Ask him for some height. Got a little bit of ground play there. Holland just sneaking by that tree. It's kind of what I usually do. I'm like, I'm going to aim at that tree and hope I miss it. Carolyn showing us the forehand route. Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And it hits the bricks. So Holland definitely a lot more on this than she would like, but fortunate to have a free look at the basket after going through that tree. The thing grabs discs. Just ask Terry Miller. Oh, Maria almost ringing it up. Aria just outside the star. Played this hole from the shorts on league night where the star is inbounds, and if you don't make it in the star, you got to go to the tip for your drop zone putt. Just 2 great 2s there. Maria, it's a bit of a tester putt into the headwind, elevated basket, and she committed. That was a great putt. Hole 12. This one is a doozy, 860 feet, par 4. They're teeing off from out of bounds. They have to establish themselves on the right side of the sidewalk. There is more OB over to the right. And this sign, these ladies are good enough that sign's probably not even in their head. I know as an AM, that sign's just enough to make you think about it. Throwing some flex turnovers with something a little flippy, getting the tailwind to stable it up. Maria throwing the sweet halo disc, the gold rim. Dope. During the round, I thought it was a T-bird for some reason, but I realized it's Team Innova stamp. Oh, Holland going with a roller. See if it has enough cut. Oh, yeah, and it stands up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Over the horizon. give her a nice approach into the green. Just a little low again out of Maria. Oh, this needs to get down or dig. Okay, it didn't skip too much. There is OB sidewalk near those trees. I think she's safe. Holland by the short tee pad. That is fantastic. That is a crush. Lots of ground play on that upshot, but this green will do it. It's super fast. Nice and flat for Maria, contacting the ground. Keeping it off of edge so it doesn't get that big flare skip like Holland did. Aria just spiking something down to the right and plays that beautifully. So Carolyn did stay safe, but you can see how close it was. This is that, I think, a A2 or PA2. It's a little lower than she wanted. Holland for birdie here. This could be huge. Oh, she wanted that bad. That would have been on a short list of threes, probably from any division. But FPO, that would have been sweet.
Yeah.
And that was a great putt to save par from Carolyn. Maria with another headwind putt. She's got that dialed. Just a safe, easy 4 from Aria. She's not playing around. Hole 13, 589 feet into the headwind, par 3. This is a tough get. 3 is going to play like birdie today. You got OB on the right, but it's really not in play unless you turn something over bad or accidentally throw a roller that goes out off to the right, but really not in play. Putting some power on a forehand, letting the wind hold it on a little flex. I like that play. Boom sauce. These are great drives into the headwind. You can just see those feather flags whipping right in their faces. I could not believe the grouping here. There's 3 in frame and 1 just out of frame to the right. They were all together like a diamond. It was pretty wild to see them get there in different ways and all be within 20 or 30 feet of each other. It was a little high, showing itself to the wind. Same disc she threw on the last hole and almost the exact same upshot. A little more ground play, but that's to be expected with the way this hill slopes. Giving it a bid. That one, man, that one will make you pucker up. In the wind with almost nothing to give you a wind read on this elevated basket. Another headwind putt from Maria. That was sweet. Great putt. Just a layup. Just got 9 strokes to play with, but This basket can eat them up really quick. No need to get aggressive. Yeah, tailwind with that uphill. Anyways, hole 14, 685 feet. They do have a Mando tree at the corner. You can see it wrapped in caution tape on the left side of the screen. Carolyn with the box, a little overturned, but it doesn't make the hole any shorter up over there, but it changes the angle a lot, so I'm sure that was accidental, but she'll be all right. Maria stabling it up a little bit. Yeah, really you just want to get a little bit of turn and as much distance as possible to start eliminating that Mando from your second shot. That should be fine, but I bet the Mando will still be in her way a little bit. Holland going big. Yeah, Carolyn first up after the tee shots, but that Mando tree is almost not in play at all. Playing it low, under the wind. Not a lot of grass on this fairway, so you can get a decent amount of ground play. Maria throwing something stable. Getting caught up in the trees. I'm surprised she threw it straight through the trees. She has a big enough arm. She could have gone over the top and let the wind push it down as it hyzers towards the basket. Wow. Her expression, yeah, it's a little bit of a poke and pray shot to me, throwing through these trees, but all four of these gals are better than I am. Holland fighting through the trees. That'll play. A little bit of ground action past the basket, but it's a good serviceable upshot. Man, dropped just a little early. That was a good line from Maria. Arya scooting along. Just missed. She's been all over from distance with those Opto Pures. Holland pin high after two. Can she convert? Yes. Getting a stroke on Arya right there. Another good putt from Maria. It's on a bit of a par streak, though. I'm sure she was wishes she was making those putts for birdie and not to save par. Arya with a little cleanup. Uncharacteristic for how our putting has been today. Back-to-back bogeys. On to hole 15, 226 feet. They moved this basket for the final day, making it a little shorter, much easier. You got this big gap, and yeah, just put it on some hyzer, wide rim, play that skip. Yeah. A little bit of a wider route. Not quite as wide of a rim on that disc, so not quite as much ground play, but still working towards the basket nicely. Ooh, that had a chance. I love this hole. This was my very first ace, and my only cash ace was on this hole playing this flare skip shot during a flex start, and GT Hancock was on my card. You should go and watch the men's. I'm sure you've watched it already if you're watching this, but go watch the men's play, and yeah, that guy signed my first ace disc. I took some of his money. He hit a different ace that day as well for 4 figures, and it had a couple of overlapping ace pots on it, and I chipped away at it just a little bit. And we got a star frame, folks. On to hole 16, 275 feet. You got lots of options on this hole as well. We're going to see a forehand out of Holland here. Saw it off, unfortunately. I'm not sure if she was going up the main gap or supposed to go up the left gap. I like this play a lot. Just with something a little flippier. She was probably expecting the headwind to pull that disc down into that main gap. A little high, but that was working out nicely. Arya going with the wide forehand. The most airspace back there and just playing. Oh, that was a big skip. Could filter long. There's a number of different ways to get into trouble. Holland found herself in one of those lanes. There's kind of some back doors through there. Pretty fortunate. You can actually scoot up under the bucket from back there. We'll see how close she got. Carolyn didn't seem to like her upshot. That's the first headwind putt Maria has missed in some time. Holland getting a little tangled up. Oh, and just off. It's one of the many very fast greens here at Veterans. If you commit to a putt like that, you better be ready for a comeback, or if it misses, because you're scooting quite a bit. Great 2 from Arya after 2 bogeys. Hole 17, par 4, 625 feet. This one's backed up quite a bit. Really, you just don't want to be right or long. It is thick back there. And that is just fine. From back here, you really, really, really have to launch something to find danger. Nice stability from Carolyn here. Hooking back up towards the top of the spine that kind of runs through this fairway. That's a rip from Maria, but it hooks up at the end. And see again, these flags are just ripping. Lots of stability on this one from Holland. Oh yeah. And the skip, that's what I'm talking about. All right, Carolyn's up first. Nice forehand. She found herself near the short tee pad, which you're looking right at it. And this is another super fast green, but she sticks it right on one of those trees nice and close. And it looks like it could be in the bushes, but there's a little cove back there. She might have ducked into it. Maria trying to replicate that sweet turnover she had on hole 1. Just a little off on the angle, and that glides out into circle 2 to the left of the pin. This is a great shot from Holland. She's found one of the rocks and stuck. That was looking like she was going to play the ground play perfect. Maria is putting out of her mind today. It's just a little off on that one. Arya sailing that putt. She probably couldn't feel the wind. A lot of times the wind on this green will kind of run from the walking path by those containers and run up this hill. Wow. Speaking of putting fantastic and being all over the basket, she's slinging those things. Just a little low from Holland. Onto our first alternate hole, hole D, 428 feet. Got a tailwind here, so it's stabling up the discs. Carolyn's going to be up on the high side of this gully, which isn't a bad place to be. Aria throwing straight at the bucket. That oak tree that she was flying towards is pretty much directly in front of the pin, and there's a little gully that those trees are growing out of. Maria going big. I think she was trying to turn it a little more and get around that tree. She's definitely got the arm for it. We'll see what Holland does. Oh, she wanted that one. That's just a little overturned out of her hand. But being short isn't terrible here because you are higher than the trees you got to throw over. And that disc just came in with a little too much angle with that tailwind, and it rolled. Nice distance here from Carolyn, but kind of on the high side. Just throwing that A2 or PA2. And Maria at the base of this mesquite tree, honestly pretty fortunate to be here because 5 feet to her right or behind her, and there's no way you can take a stance behind that disc with all those Texas mesquite thorns. Smart play. So roll away potential is pretty big. I'm pretty sure Carolyn stayed in again. Just putting it under the bucket. You can see the flags just ripping in the background. That was fortunate to go in. Holland after was like, I missed, but it went in. Because the nose like doinked right off the top of the cage, but had enough force on it that the wind lifted it and it still went in. I'm not really sure on the physics of it all, but it counted. Hole E, 522 feet. Famous pond hole here. It's about 300 feet to clear. And you got to stay on the right side of that sidewalk. That is right where you want it. Maria putting it right through that big gap and just skipping through it. This one is a par 4, so you don't need to bite off too much distance here. You just need to give yourself a good position to pitch up onto the peninsula green. Because on the other side of the fairway, you have a road on the right side of the pond. You have a driveway deep of the fairway, a parking lot left where the sidewalk kind of snakes up to. And for their second shot, they will be pitching up onto a somewhat elevated peninsula with OB surrounding. Carolyn going a little wider, playing the swing. Much flat. Carolyn's up first. Personally, I like being at this angle. You can throw something with a little bit of hyzer up on the right side of this tree. Doesn't bring the parking lot in play as much. It can bring the road on the back side of the peninsula into play, but if you don't give it too much height and you give it enough stability, it should work out. Aria's up next. And this way you've got that tree that'll stop your disc dead in the tracks on the right, so you kind of got to flirt with the parking lot a little more. And she gets the tickle off of that little sapling by the white truck. She knows she kind of got away with one there. Maria up next. A little more of the pure turnover lined up. That needs to, oh yeah, there you go. Wind kind of dropped it out of the air. That had enough height that you could make it into the parking lot. Ask me how I know. Holland found herself in some casual water. Kind of of an awkward standstill. Caught some nasty ground play though to filter outside the circle. Kind of fortunate to catch the band so that it didn't filter past where Arya is into the parking lot. And another huge deep circle one, maybe edge of circle two. Putt from Arya. Just a little right on that one from Maria. It's probably hoping the wind would push it down into the chains. So the wind whips across the parking lot onto this green. Hole F, 338 feet. You've got the sidewalk OB on the right and the American flag. The left flagpole is a Mando. Have to play to the left of it. Forehand is the play here if you have it. A little overturned. The backhand with the headwind and that Mando in play. The backhand turnover is just so tricky in this hole. Something stable on forehand. It's way to go. Holland flips hers as well, but gives it plenty of height. It's going to fight back and stab outside of circle two. Maria going with that backhand turnover and yanks it. It catches the Texas flag and drops safe. And they're in a line. The Texas flag is closer than the American flag, so she drops safe. She has not crossed that invisible Mando plane, taking the confusion out of it. But the angle is not good here. Oh no. She is thrown across the Mando plane. And yeah, she does not realize. Here we go. Vibes are really good on this card though. And they pointed out Maria's mistake and she goes to the DZ. It's not what you want to do on the second to last hole, but you know, just got to take your lumps. And shout out on the last hole to Arya. She got the only birdie on the day for hole E, the pond hole. That is a terrific three. Here's Holland. She's a little past pin high, actually. There's a low-hanging branch. Yeah. Somebody finds that on the MPO coverage as well. That branch is a menace. Great shot from...
Hey.
Oh my gosh. Great tee shot and a great putt from Carolyn. That was sweet. That is a good get there. Maria cleaning up, I believe, a 5. But she's got third place all but locked up. She's just getting through it. On to hole 18, our final hole, 538 feet. And Carolyn has the honors after the birdie on hole F. And she is the only birdie of the day on hole F in this FPO division. Lead card stuff right there. I believe this was a titanium buzz. And excellent kick out of the woods, putting her just short of the concrete tees. Love to see it. All these solo birdies. These women came out here to crush this event. A real treat getting to watch them today. But they've been throwing good shots all weekend. I mean, Arya shot over 1,000 rated for rounds 1 and 2. Round 3 was a little short of that. But 21 holes from the longs is no joke. little bit of a side hill here from Carolyn. Going nuke or force, I think, and just a little low. Don't envy that shot though. Running uphill on a side hill. Anyways, hauling. Oh yeah. Just played it right through the widest part of the fairway. Skips up onto the green. That's textbook right there. Little overturn from Maria. But there's some thick bushes over there that should have dropped down nicely. Oh, got my hand in frame there. Trying to block the sun to not get that lens flare that we had earlier in the day. Little off the mark from Aria, but that'll play. She'll have a long bid for a 3. Carolyn playing it nice and wide. Perfect upshot there. Should be able to tap in for a par. Maria having to manufacture something a little bit, and oh yeah, that's nice. Carolyn lining up her putt, making sure that pipeline marker isn't in her way. Just barely low. Maria, she did stay safe. Great putt there. And we've got this putt for Carolyn to clean up, and then some tap-ins for our first and second place finishers. It's a fantastic card. Thanks for the good golf today and the good vibes, for letting me hang out with y'all. It was awesome to watch y'all shred my home course. And for the win, Aria Castruita. Yeah, good vibes from the whole card. Great play. And that concludes our FPO coverage of the 32nd Veterans Park Open, brought to you by Kratom and Mint Discs. There is your top 10. Cat Merch just dealing it by one stick away from Carolyn Henderson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.